Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a child's pose position. Bring your big toes together, open your knees wide, and bring your hips to rest on your heels and your forehead to rest on your mat. Start to bring your focus and your awareness to the movement of your breath. With every inhale, feel your back body and your back ribs expand. And with every exhale, feel your torso deflate and feel your hips sink a little heavier towards your heels. And just keep your own natural rhythm of your breath going. Maybe find your inhales to be a little deeper. And now slowly press yourself up to a tabletop position with your shoulders over your wrists and extend your right leg back long behind you. Now hold it here for a few moments and point your right hip down to the ground. Pull your knee to your chest or to your nose and then re-extend your leg. We take this 5 times total. Pull the knee to the nose, re-extend. So we're starting to find a little bit of activation in your core as you pull your knee to your nose. It's this nice deep contraction through the belly. And you can start to feel the sensation of matching breath to movement. After your 5th go around, stay with your right leg floated, bend your right knee. Option to stay here, or you can reach your left hand forward and circle it around, try to catch the top of your foot. And then maybe you kick your foot into your hands, maybe try to lift your gaze up, but consistently stay pressing down through your right palm. Stay here about 5 seconds. Slowly release whatever posture you've taken and move back to your tabletop position. And we'll set up everything on the opposite side. Extend your left leg back long behind you. Make sure both of your hips are square to the ground. And now pull your left knee to your chest or to your nose. Find that deep contraction. On your inhale, extend. We take this 5 times total. And you start to match breath with movement. You start to feel a little more heat and engagement through your low belly. Really press both of your palms solidly into the mat. After your 5th time, bend your back left knee. Option to stay there, or you can reach your right arm forward and then circle it back and around. Try to catch the top of your foot. Kick your foot into your hand. Option to stay there, or maybe you lift your gaze forward. Actively press down into your bottom palm. Stay for about 5 seconds. In whichever posture you've taken, release it. Reach the hand forward, the leg back, and bring yourself back to tabletop. Flip your toes, find a high plank. Pause and breathe here. Give yourself about 5 big breaths, just starting to build a little more heat through your core. And then slowly lower yourself all the way down to your belly. We're moving into a Sphinx pose, which is a very gentle back bend. Bring your forearms and your palms so they're flat. Press down to lift up through your chest. And then imagine that your elbows are pulling back while your heart space pulls forward between your arms. Just to find a few moments of breath here. Let your hips be heavy, let your chest be lifted. Continue to press down into your forearms and then slowly release. We're gonna come into another variation of this Sphinx pose. So take your left forearm and bring it so it's completely parallel to the front of your mat. Bend your right knee and then try to catch your right foot with your right hand as you actively press your left forearm down into the ground. So you're really lifted up because of that bottom left forearm, and then you can find a little bit of a quad stretch by pulling the heel to the glute. And we'll set up the other side. Release your foot. Bring your right forearm down to the ground. Bend your left knee. Take your left hand to your left foot. And now pull your left heel towards your glute. Continue to actively press down into your right elbow and your right forearm. And breathe here. Nice big breaths in and out. Try to get your heel all the way to your glute if possible. And then slowly release, let this go. Come back down onto your belly, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and try to power yourself up to your high plank and transition to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up and then step your right foot so it comes between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the ground and lift your arms up. Low lunge position. Stay here for 5 big breaths. Every exhale, allow your hips to be a little heavier and a little further forwards. Make sure that your shoulders are stacking right on top of your hips. And then slowly release, bring your hands down to frame your front right foot and shift your hips back for a half split. So you're nice and heavy through the torso. And again, we stay here about 5 big breaths. Every exhale, let your torso sink a little heavier towards the leg. And now we move into this transition. Bring your gaze forward. Rebend into your front right knee. Flip your back toes and launch yourself so you're only on your right foot. And we're in a supported warrior 3. So think of trying to make like a capital L shape with your 2 legs. Try to get your left leg, that's your lifted leg, as straight as you can. We're here for about 5 breaths, just as with all the other postures. And now bring your left foot down to a forward fold. Soften through your knees and slowly start to roll yourself up to stand. Feel your spine stack as you come all the way up. Your shoulders, chin, and gaze are last to arrive. Reach your arms straight up overhead. Find a little bit of a back bend just to lift through the heart. And on your exhale, bring your hands through to heart center, forward fold. Bring your hands down, step your feet back, downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, start to roll yourself forward to a high plank. Now continue to drop your hips down and open through your chest for an upward facing dog. Maybe try to keep your toes flipped under. Give yourself about 3 big breaths here. Really press down into the ground so your shoulders and your ears are separated. And now lift your hips back and move back to your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg up. And on your exhale, step your left foot so it comes between your hands. Gently lower your back knee to the mat and then reach your arms up. Nice low lunge position. Give yourself 5 big breaths here. Continue to press the hips forward and down. Every inhale, find length through your spine. And every exhale, allow your hips to go even a little further forwards. Release your hands down, send your hips back into your half split. And again, give yourself 5 big breaths here. Every exhale, allow your torso to be a little heavier over your leg. And if you've got a bend in that front left knee, it's no big deal. Transition, bring your gaze forward, bend into your front left knee, flip your back toes, launch yourself onto your front left foot for this assisted warrior 3. Try to square both of your hips down to the ground. Find a lot of energy through the bottom of your right foot, through the back of your right knee. Forward fold, bring the right foot down to meet your left. Bend your knees and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Feel your spine restacking. And then from here, move yourself to the back of your mat. So just give yourself a few steps back. Come into a one-legged mountain pose. Shift your weight to your left foot, pull your right knee up, reach your arms up overhead, and just breathe here. Option to stay or option to try to extend your right leg. So we feel a lot of extra work here. We're only here for a few moments. Try to stick with it. Bend your bottom knee. Big brave step forward onto that right foot. And then bend your left knee. Catch your left foot with your hand. Option to stay here or option to kick your foot into your hand so much that you bring yourself down into a dancer pose. So actively kick the left foot into the left hand and allow that to bring your chest forwards. Continue to kick and now slowly release. Keep the leg lifted. Bring your hands to heart center. Here's one version of a warrior 3. The other version is your arms straight forward. I know it's a lot more challenging. We're not here for very long. Stick with your breath. Standing split. Bring your hands down to the ground and try to lift your left ankle a little bit higher. Can you get a little bit straighter through your back knee? Bring a lot of energy behind your back left knee. And then come back to forward fold. So your left foot will come down to the ground. Separate your feet about hips width distance. Take a bend through your knees and then slide your palms so they come underneath the bottoms of your feet. So your toes are up towards your wrist creases. Now you can have a bend with your knees. Bend your elbows and try to use the strength of your arms to bring your torso closer to your legs. Find some movement in the jaw, find some movement in the neck if that feels good. Really try to pull your torso towards your legs. And now release your feet and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Feel your spine stack. And we're going to take everything on the opposite side. So once again, move to the back of your mat. Shift your weight to your right foot. Pull your left knee up, one-legged mountain pose. Extend your arms up overhead and just find a few moments to balance here. Plug down into your bottom right foot. And then option to extend your top left knee. Adds a little more challenge to this posture. Really plug down through your bottom right foot. Now bend your bottom knee and take a brave step forward onto your front left foot. Bend your right knee, kick your heel to your glute, try to catch the foot. Option to stay right here with your knees squeezing together, or you can kick your foot into your hands so much that you come into this variation of a dancer pose. This dancer pose is a back bend, it's a chest opener, and it's a shoulder opener as well as a balance. Find one point of focus that's not moving and just focus on that. That will help out with the balance, similar to spotting. Release your foot and find a variation of Warrior 3. Extend the right leg back long behind you. Option to keep the hands at heart center, or you can stretch your fingertips forward. That's going to be just slightly more challenging. Find the challenge that feels good for you. Lengthen through the crown of your head, lengthen out of your back right knee. Give yourself one more big inhale, and then move to standing split. Hands come down to the ground. And then try to lift your right leg a little bit higher. Try to straighten behind your right knee. Find a lot of energy there. Can your torso come a little heavier? And now bring your right foot to meet your left. You're back in your forward fold. And from your forward fold, bring yourself back to downward facing dog. Take one final breath here. And then roll yourself forward to a high plank position. And then start to lower your belly all the way down to the ground. We're going to work on a little back strengthening here. Flip over to the tops of your feet. Extend your fingertips long in front of you. Bring your forehead so it's down to the ground. And then from here, lift your hands and your head up off the mat and lift your legs as well. So we're coming into this super person posture. You want to think of finding length before height. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the toes. Instead of trying to crunch yourself to get a little bit higher, think of finding that stretch and length. We're here for about 10 seconds total. Continue to breathe. I know it's super challenging. Lengthen once more, and then release yourself down. And find a moment of rest here, a little belly shavasana. Bring your hands back by your sides and lay your left ear down to the ground. And just feel your breath move out of your back. We're going to take another back bend here. So bring your forehead flat again. Bend your knees. Try to catch the outsides of your feet. We're coming into a full bow pose. So kick your feet so much into your hands that you can lift your head and your chest. And then eventually try to lift your knees and your thighs up off the ground for your bow pose. If you've got your knees and your thighs up off the ground, try to close the gap between your knees. Continue to kick your feet and your ankles back to lift your chest a little higher. Continue to breathe. I know it's super challenging. And then slowly release yourself down and find that belly shavasana again with your opposite ear down to the ground this time. And feel your back rise and fall with every breath. And then slowly bring yourself all the way over onto your back. So you can just kind of flip on over. Come onto your back and bend your knees into your chest. Grab hold of fingers or wrists or forearms. And we'll move into a gentle twist. Open your arms out to the side and let your knees fall over to the right. You can bring your gaze over to the left if that feels okay through the neck and the shoulder. Take big belly breaths here. With every exhale, allow yourself to twist a little bit deeper. And then slowly bring your knees back to center And then just let your knees fall over to the left. An option here to bring your gaze over to the right. And come back to the movement of your breath. Every inhale, allow your belly to expand. And every exhale, get a little bit deeper through your twist. And now slowly bring yourself back to center. Happy baby. Catch the outsides of your feet, pull your knees to your armpits, and try to actively press your feet into your hands, and you may feel your lower back stamp a little further and heavier down into the ground. You can take some side-to-side movement here if that feels good, maybe a little bit of movement through the jaw and the face. Option to stay here, you can stay in your happy baby, or option to come into a plow pose. So you can bring your hands to your lower back for a little bit of support, or you can bring your hands over your head if you feel comfortable doing that. So you can either stay in that happy baby or make your way to this plow pose. If you're in your plow pose, keep your gaze and your neck straight up towards the ceiling. Try not to shift from side to side. Just a nice little stretch for your lower back. And now slowly release and move into your final Shavasana, final meditation. Extend your legs long and heavy in front of you. Bring your arms down by your side. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And just start to bring your focus and your awareness back to the movement of your breath. Notice any shifts you may feel physically or mentally. And just let every exhale sink you a little bit deeper. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.